Hey folks, Dude here, coming to you on another Tuesday. This one, of course, being a Tuesday where the pollen count is into the freaking stratosphere. So, if I sound like I'm dealing with the fact that I'm coughing up, like hairballs, and I've been like too much, now I'm like going, that's why. Abrams in the room. Appreciate you coming by, dude. Looking at things as things are. Facebook has decided yet again, me posting up a picture of the mother zucker. The mother zucker getting a little bit more attention than he probably should. And I'm saying like he pretty much is getting I think I got this one, sound guy. Let's just say it's a picture of him on all fours. Obviously, it's going to be a Photoshop, but it is definitely him on all fours getting a little bit of action. So it's safe to say that he got just a little bit of, oh boy. Well, considering the way Facebook works, they gave me a little bit of, it was not, no, it was not snoo. It was definitely, yeah. So I got off my 30 days. I had about a 5-day vacation on Facebook. I posted up the picture of the mother zucker getting railroaded, shall we say. yeah, he was getting railroaded. Okay, he was getting railroaded, shall we say. And in that realm, they decided that I had overstepped the bounds, and it was describing a sex act. No, I posted up that picture. I've seen that picture posted up before. Literally what it is now on Facebook, I'm under a microscope, okay? So I'm not even going to describe it as anything other than what it is. I am under a microscope on Facebook. So be it as it is, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry. Patriot Fever checking in the room. Appreciate you coming by, dude. Been watching your videos. Your content's good, man. You just got to work on your sound levels. Like you're in this level, all of a sudden the sound effect comes in, and it's like that. So it kind of takes over. So you got to balance that a little bit. Barry K. Sean, appreciate you coming on, brother. So looking at things, it is basically the standard state of affairs with Facebook. I'm either in or I'm out. I kind of feel like Ross Perot sometimes. I'm in, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. You know, it really holds no rhyme or reason. Other than the fact they get their knickers in a twist and they go, hey, you can't do or say or think that. And I'm like, duh, I'm going to come in here and, rape, pillage, and burn and do stuff the way it needs to have happen. So in that realm and respect, I simply shall contend to be me. I shan't stop being me. So I'll continue to be me. Looks like Mrs. Dude is texting me. Let's see what she has. Oh, no, that's the, yep. Okay. Just hang on one second. One of my other side gigs is getting back to me. Okay, so let me do the smart thing here and kill the sound. So I'll just see it light up and it's like, hey, you got a message. Enough on that one. So all right, looking at Facebook as it is, Facebook being what Facebook is, they will justifiably be Facebook and they'll continue to be Facebook. They're not going to switch up in midstream, and I'm either in or I'm out. Okay. I'm not going to cry. I do know that one of my friends pretty much said that they killed their page. It was like, they tried to log in and they just gone, and she was one of these people who was really like posting all kinds of anti-COVID things, giving like secondary information to go counter with the primary information that we were being force fed about, the virus this or the virus that or all the rest of this happy falderall. And they literally just cut her legs out from underneath her and just boom, gone. But anyway, had an opportunity to catch up with her. And she's like, I'm on Gab, I'm on this, I'm on these other things, blah, 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 blah. You can find me in these other places. And needless to say, she's also kind of a hot chick. So I was kind of like more than a little distracted trying to talk to her and not look at obvious, good componentry. But Mrs. Dude was nearby, so I was on my best behaviors. So anyway, she's not here right now, so I could say these things. Actually, you know what? Even if she was here, I'd say these things that she would just come around the corner and just kind of do the, she'd give me the Popeye. The one where the chick is looking at you and you're like, oh, but you still contend to be who you are. She knows me at this point. We've been together in excess of 20 years, so she knows who I am. Anyway, so I can look, but I can't touch. So anyway, look at the things as it is. The news has been nothing short of completely just redonkulous. And I do mean completely redonkulous. I do have the laptop going on the side here. So if I am looking off to the side, it is literally just, my camera is riding my monitor on my home computer. My desktop is like straight ahead. And then, of course, the laptop is off to the right. So I'll be referring to the laptop for my lookups so I don't crash and burn my, my home computer. Which that one is running the better of the two cameras. Obviously, I'm still running my Yeti. So, I got my Blue Yeti microphone. I got my Logitech 910 camera, I think it is. But, anyway, so that's all the home computer going on, like that stuff there. I do have the light level up. So it's not like I really have, toned down the lights. For some reason, this camera is just not really very sensitive for light level. Yeah, it's a little better. It's a little glary on me, but hopefully you guys can see a little bit better. I do know that sometimes that video production cameras ask for a just ridiculous amount of light. I mean, I could go really crazy here, like pull out, the 6P, the old school 6P Surefire, and just really, really make the place sing, because this thing is just like, yeah. This thing is just it's still exceedingly bright. It is a serious battery hog, though. It'll ingest the CR123 in very short order, but it is hella bright. So it's one of those good kind of tactical things, but it is, technology's improved a lot, but these things still freaking work. And they are actually getting a lot cheaper. It is a 1-inch tube, so you can bolt this thing easily onto firearms and whatnot. It does, of course, have all the modularity where you could switch out the bezel, you could switch out the tail cap, and it eats CR123s like little kids in a candy store. So I'm gonna be a little careful about that one. But anyway, so look at things as it is. That's the state of affairs on that one. Facebook is kind of basically said, we're just gonna give you what for. Yeah, and they gave me what for. So anyway, giving them the full accreditation of which they are deserved. I'm just not even going to really truly worry about Facebook so much, mostly because I do the simulcast there, and it's hit or miss. I mean, the other thing, too, is I also killed my main channel. So main page, call it what you will. And in extent of them being the butt bungs that they are and the lack of penetration that I really truly tend to get, I'm really not crying about not being on Facebook. Sometimes, though, I do think it's kind of funny, though, for a lot of the information sourcing. I do get a lot of memes there. I share the memes there, and almost immediately they're like, hey, that was above board. You can't do that. And, of course, it flew with somebody else, and I get boned for me doing it. I'm not going to cry and, begrudge the fact that pretty much I am who I am. But, it is what it is, and I am who I am. And, obviously, I just kind of have, I got one of those on my back. Okay. So I'm literally the silhouetted individual that they tend to go, yeah, okay, that guy's on the rifle range. Yeah, he's dancing around. Hey, he did something. We're going to have to catch him on it. So I know I've already got the target on my back. All right. That is how it is. And I'm not going to cry about it. It's just the fact of life. So I'm not going to whine and cry and whinge and carry on and bitch and moan and all the rest of that fun stuff. I'm just not going to. Okay. Because that's just the facts of life. Dealing with Facebook as a non-regulated utility. Now, I've been saying for quite a while, though, that really once they get rid of that one statute rule, call it what it is. I think it's like Rule 123 or something like that, and it actually was put in place back in like the 1980s to ensure that the internet would have enough of a penetration, enough of a voice, enough ability to, go head to head with the big guys, the established mainstream press. And that's kind of one of those counterculture things, truly, is the fact that your printed newsprint, any of your printed items, There's been like 2,400 American newspapers that have gone south so far. It is absolutely insane how many newspapers have just crashed and burned because people just don't go, oh yeah, let me go out to the local store and get one of my local oh yeah, the butt bung Times. Yeah, I gotta have that thing. People don't go with printed media much anymore. I mean, obviously, you can pretty much look for just about anything on the internet at this point. Obviously, there's means of download. You really don't even need to buy paperback books any longer because you simply just go on Amazon or you go to some other places and you just download the PDF, install it in your device. You install it in your home computer. You install it in your laptop. You install it in your tablet. I mean, it's all these things are now available. Heck, you can even go if you want to go a little bit more old school. You can go download movies into your iPods. I mean, it's not hard one science at this point for you to share digital technology and then place it in your devices to always have it with you. There is dirty little secrets that you can do in terms of a lot of this technology that most people really only think about. I mean, like let me jump back into the iPod for a second here. This is actually a monster. This is the largest drive, and I do mean it is an actual hard drive iPod. This is the 160 gigabyte iPod. This is the monster. I mean, it's like about a centimeter, about almost a half-inch thick. It's really stout. The funniest damn thing is when you turn this thing on, you hear the little hard drive spooling up because there is a micro drive in this. Now you can retrofit this thing and you can put an SD card in here or multiple SD cards. And there's been guys who've gone on the internet with YouTube videos and they've done ridiculous things. They've uploaded this thing to like a terabyte. Now the software cannot handle that kind of a just ridiculous amount of just unbelievable mind to play with. It just crashes the OS, but it will support up to like 256 or I think like 400 gigs, maybe 600 gigs. That's borderline. It gets very unstable because the OS was never designed to handle that much memory or that much difference in terms of technology, because obviously SSDs are just way faster than scrolling sectors and making sense of different tracks and piecing it all together. But the dirty little secret is if you take one of these guys and you have the ability to go into the back door, literally you just plug this thing into your computer. You basically have the dongle wire, or you just have the 32 pin adapter. I mean, I know they went lightning and all the rest of that fun stuff. This one's old school, so it's got the 32 pin. But you would take this guy, you would jack it into your computer, and your computer would just see this as another drive. So obviously, if you have the good programs, like I actually do have a non-iOS program to rip my music and put my music in here and all the good stuff like that there. But the dirty little thing is if you look at this in my computer and you see this as a drive, you could put files into this and you could use this as an actual external hard drive. And I've done that before. I put external files on here and I've utilized it as an external hard drive. Now, the thing about it is the iOS OS cannot access those files. Technically what it is just seen as just noise. It just goes, that's a file I cannot get into. And the cool part about it is like stuff that you really want to hide from somebody. Read like like serial numbers of like your various items. I'm not going to get into great detail on that one for obvious reasons, but the serial numbers of all your various items, the descriptors of all your personal property that you really truly wish to hide from people, passwords and the like. Who would think to break into your house and go, oh yeah, iPod? Even the bad guys don't steal iPods at this point, okay? It's not worth their time. So literally what you can do is you go in there and you just see it as an additional drive and you just drop the files in there. And usually what I'll do is I'll drop it in there as like notepad files. So it just comes in as like, blah, blah, blah name.txt for text. Now there is, like I said, there is additional programs out there to go back into the iOS and play with these guys. And it's really not even iOS. I mean, let me jump over here real fast. I got to go to another one of my folders here. So give me 1 second here. Like usually what I'll use is there is a really kick-ass free program called Copy Trans Master. And it literally, the icon for it literally looks like an orange box with a set of headphones. And the cool part about that one is it requires absolutely no support from iTunes or anything. You literally just log in there and you just simply drag these things around, throw them in there, take them out, all the rest of that fun stuff. And all your music files and whatnot are not corrupted. Of course, you got to have, the appropriate, MP3. You can't use Windows Media Player. You can't use the Windows Media files because, well, Windows is...
You're despicable.
Well, yeah, but they also are just one of those things you try to throw it in there, and yeah, it just says no. Okay, it will not go in there, and if you try to stick stuff that is in there that is not MP3,
death by Snoo Snoo.
No, it is not death by Snoo Snoo, sound guy. It is because it won't work. He's doing the ding again. All right. Well, anyway, so I really didn't want to get into the iOS stuff, but I just thought it was kind of fun to talk about that. From time to time, I do actually, see that in the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should bring that up. But anyway, so yeah, the new Rhino meme. Oh, good. Okay. Yes. Patriot Fever got into contact with me behind the scenes, and we kind of did a little bit of networking, and he was like, hey, can you make a blah blah blah? And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. So I went in there and basically did some post-production work and grabbed a video file and came up with some new audio clips and spliced it all together. And it's really throwing some text in there just to be a smart ass. It's really low budget production, but it works, I guess. Patriot Fever says in the room says, truthfully, I run iOS and I've never learned how to use iTunes. It's kind of one of those arcane sciences. It's like, for some reason, the kids can get into it and they're like, oh, this makes perfect sense. And they're like, gibberishing away with like half known information and just like, gibberish. It just seems to make sense to them. Obviously, us being, almost boomers, but obviously us being almost boomers, we're looking at that kind of gibberish and going, yeah, that's not even good information. Okay. I want to have like a full sentence, not, like a sentence that comprises like 3/4 of the alphabet for where words should be in place and numbers for words. Weak sauce. Really is weak sauce. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, I got to scroll way down in my my Gab account because that's what I've been doing now is anytime I get, cock blocked. Anytime I get cock blocked on Facebook, I'll start immediately just doing stuff on Gabs because it's just easier that way. Okay, so anytime that I get cock blocked, no, sound guy, no, not the bad chicken crow. Okay, anytime I get cock blocked and I can't do anything on Facebook, I'll simply just do it over on Gab. Okay. That one was better, but it's loud. Okay, stop. All right. So anyway, looking at the Gab now, I gotta. It doesn't really navigate the same as Facebook. It's similar, but it's not the same. Okay, so it's kind of a little bit of a learning curve there. But I got to tell you what, man. Oh my word! It has been seen that there is quite a bit of strife that's been installed because immediately the guys out in Minnesota were freaking out or wherever it was that the cop basically did the kneel on the guy's neck thing. They're like, okay, well, if there's a riot, please don't riot too bad. No, that's not how you handle the situation. What you do is you tell these people, look, don't riot. And if you do riot, we're going to make your lives completely suck because we're not just simply just going to be like, okay, you guys need to go home now. No, what they need to do is they need to roll out the fire trucks and they need to say, look, here it is. You guys have had your little demonstration. It's been peaceful. As soon as you guys start making waves and you start making things go wrong, we're going to pull out the fire trucks and we're going to give you a bath. And we're not just talking about getting you moist. We're going to be hitting you with a couple thousand PSI and we roll you down the street soaking wet going, yeah, this really sucks. Next, when you get rolled down the street and you're soaking wet, you're going to get rolled to a pile of police cars. When you go to the police cars, you will get a ride in the back of the paddy wagon. You will be zip tied. You will be arrested. And you will be charged a fee, fine, or some other means of conventionally, conventionally not happy thing to do. You will be charged a cash bond to leave the jail. Or you're going to be spending the weekend in the jail. Oh, it's not the weekend? Guess what? You're going to spend the week in the jail. And afterwards, you're going to have a court date where you better show certain, or you're going to have a bench warrant on you. They need to stop handling these kids with kid gloves, and they need to treat them like the adults who go, hey, kid, you're being naughty, and we're going to smack you in the ass. Let's see. I can get the battery-powered fraud after hosing now. No, man. No, you know what? I'm really not a huge fan of tasers to begin with. For the very simple reason is they sometimes don't work. The guy's rolling around the ground going, ow, 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 ow. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight. And then as soon as they stop frying him, dude's like, that's it. Duke's up. I'm ready to rock. And the fight is on again. So I tend to think tasers they don't work quite as good as they should. Yeah, they do really, really, really hurt. And yes, you're on the ground doing the funky chicken while you're getting lit the heck up. But the failure rate for tasers right now is really, really, really high. And of course, pepper spray and all the like and that fun stuff and whatnot. I would tend to think if you're engaging this guy at this point where you're at that level, it's going to be more than just simply having a good time rolling around the ground with a guy. Look up the bowler wrap. Yeah, I've seen those, dude. Abrams is saying look up the bowler wrap, which is basically like you shoot either a net at the guy or there's like literally the bolo, where you have like the 3 pieces of string with nodules on the end. You get that thing spinning and you throw it at the guy, it wraps around his legs, and so anyway, that's one of the other good things too. Callie says his dad is 52, knows way more about computers than I ever could. Well, obviously he's been involved with them since it's like very infancy. But these kids nowadays, man, they pick up the phone and they're like, oh yeah, well, I'll do this, that, and the other thing. And then, they go with the face of the item. They really don't see like what's behind the scenes. Like behind the scenes, if you could crack your way into like a Chromebook, it's an idiot. It really is just like, it's a terminal. It's not even like a laptop. And these guys are like, oh yeah, it's good enough. It's like, dude, no. 1, you need the internet. 2, you need Google basically to look and microscope every single thing you do on the internet. And number 3, it's on the cloud. It's not in your computer. Okay. That's one of the nice things I can say is when I do stuff and I want to save stuff, I have it handy because it's in my external hard drive. This one, of course, being a Western Digital 2T drive. And I'm probably going to get bigger as soon as they get bigger. But for right now, that one's working just fine. So anyway, I was looking at the chain of events, and yeah, I am going to riff on it to some extent, but I really don't want to begrudge the fact that all this crap going on out west is pretty much, or out east if you're in California, basically middle of the country, Minnesota, call it what you will. But anyway, all these butt bungs now duking it out, causing mayhem and struggle and strife and all the rest of this fun stuff for basically a piece of crap thug. And he wasn't that great a guy to begin with, okay? And the other thing, too, is also he was a troublemaker to begin with. So the cops knew him well. He knew the cops well. He'd been through the process numerous times. And then, of course, the fact he was loaded up with enough medication to probably overdose. He wasn't destined to be around for really long anyway. So this whole thing about like, oh, yeah, he's a cultural hero. I can't breathe and all the rest of this, BLM type crap. I think what it is right now is just the same thing that you have to worry about. Like, anytime you have, I love this phrase, the race baiting poverty pimps come swooping down to try to make some kind of good amount of fundage off of this stuff. And then literally that's what it is too. You can ask anybody in any of the neighborhoods. And I've even asked the guys like, dude, BLM makes such a big presence and everything, the Black Lives Matter thing and everything. Have they really done anything in your neighborhood? And everything that I've ever asked these guys of, every single one has said, no, I've seen no results from these guys being in my neighborhood. They're outsiders. They come in, they basically talk a good game, they raise money, and then they leave. Kelly says 8 foot of extra thick braided Kevlar and 2 small travel. Ooh, 2 small travel hooks. Ah, yeah, fishing for bad guys. Oh. It's kind of reminded me a little bit of that movie Hellraiser, where you see like the chains with the hooks on it. It's like ka-chink, 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 ka-chink. And they're just going, ah, yeah. Look up the original Hellraiser, man. That movie is rife with like chains and treble hooks. Wow. Kind of one of those fun late 80s, early 90s kind of horror movies where it was still fun. It wasn't just like, okay, let's just start them out as much amount of blood and gore as we possibly can. You know, it actually had like plots to it. Modern horror movies. There's really just, it's like if you substituted all the blood and gore for like sex acts, it's porn. It really is. If you look at modern horror movies, they're substituting blood and gore for like obvious, you know, sexual interaction and of course bodily fluids, shall we say. That's pretty much about it. Logan Ray, appreciate you coming in the room, dude. My resident Canuckastania has come in the room and decided to hang out with us tonight. Obviously, he's breached the wires, come across the border, and come south to the free states. Probably looking for better health care. Oh man, that's funny. And we're watching a political horror movie right now. That's for damn sure. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Patriot Fever. I mean, it's literally about the only way I can really express modern horror movies. They're light on plot. They usually rely on the fact that they have like somebody notable in it, and they go on with it from there. Okay, that's something else. Let me just do a sidestep and a tangent here. Mrs. Dude had, because we have Verizon, we had a year. I guess you could say it was like, see if you really like it kind of a deal, but it was a free year of Disney Plus. Mrs. Dude also got another year of Disney Plus. I think it's like $12 or $14 a month or something like that. But anyway, so we now have Disney Plus, and I've been watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I think it's on episode 5 or 6 now. I gotta tell you, man, it is not The Mandalorian, okay? I'm gonna put that very simply put. It is not The Mandalorian. The pacing on it is like just glacial. And that's literally all I can say right out of it. It's glacial. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go down and try to save the family boat, you know, because that's the presence of, okay, so literally what it is the premise of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is obviously the guy that basically is the fly around guy, was like, you know, part of the Avengers and obviously the Winter Soldier. So Bucky Buchanan, you know, the guy that basically is teamed up with Captain America. Obviously he's the guy that was over, you know, basically got his arm ripped off after he fell off the train. And the Red Skull and those guys decided to make him a super soldier. So he was a super soldier and they gave him the Russian arm of steel. So anyway, in Russia, you're armed with steel arm. Yeah, so I'm doing my bad, you know, Yakov Smirnoff thing. In Russia, you're armed with steel arm. So anyway, he had the steel arm with the red star on it, whatnot. And during the course of the battle and whatnot, he lost the steel arm, wound up after part of the battles. I think it was after what they referred to as the blip, which was when, you know, Thanos did the snapping. They referred to that as the blip. And the blip, of course, being resolved is the blip. So basically, people, the 50% of people that disappeared come back. And in the process of everybody coming back, literally what happened is because 50% of the population of everywhere is just gone on Earth, literally what they said was, okay, there's only X amount of people. Let's just spread everybody back out from, like, you know, all these really, you know, isolated areas and put them into more of population bases. And there was a group of guys referred to as the GRC for after the blip was resolved. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to move the guys that moved into these areas, trying to move them back to their areas. And of course, now it created quite a bit of turmoil and conflict and what have you, because the people that are in the nicer areas, they don't want to go back to crap Bagistan where they're from. And of course, obviously, you know, after 5 years, relationships have, you know, have occurred. People have gotten used to being together. And then, of course, now the normal population is back together. And, of course, everything's back to, quote, unquote, normal. And so the GRC is pretty much this reaching, overarching. And that's one of the things I could truly tell you about this show that actually is kind of interesting is the fact they're showing the GRC really kind of comes across as a socialistic, overreaching overlord side of like the UN, the United Nations. But the thing is that the way that they're describing it is they're describing the GRC as kind of more of a paper tiger. And literally, they are not able to fix the problems of which is going on now. Because, there's not only like one or two super soldiers, the guys that actually were put around from like, World War II onward. But there's now a bunch more super soldiers because somebody got a hold of the blue juice that you test and become a super soldier. Also, Falcon, I forget his name, but he turned in Captain America. Government decided, you know what? We need a new Captain America. With a new Captain America who happens to be Kurt Russell's son. And it's kind of cool, too, when you watch this, because in some angles, if you squint your eyes up just right, you can look at this guy and go, man, he kind of looks like Snake Plissken. He kind of really has that vibe at the age of where he is right now. I would love to see them do another version of Escape from Somewhere using Kurt Russell's kid as Snake Plissken, because you know what? If you squint your eyes up just right, he looks like a young Kurt Russell. So I would see that being something really kind of cool, and I would love to see that happen. Now, are they ever really going to do a reboot on that? I don't know. I really, truly don't know if even like, the guys who originally did Escape from New York and Escape from LA, if they'd ever really want to do another one of those movies. But you know what? Both of those movies are really kind of cult. The first one is really cult because it was very, very low budget. The second one actually was, a product improved version. I tend to think it got a little schlocky because they had too much money. It was kind of the same problem that, George Lucas had. The first movie was just, really put together, like just nuts and bolts, just scraping together everything they possibly could. Like, even the scene where, like, the Tusken Raider is above Luke and about ready to smash him, he's doing the... That wasn't even like a good scene. It was like, basically like 20 frames where he's just going and then back. He was rocking the frames back and forth to do the because they literally had just enough footage to make the movie. I mean, they literally ran some of the shots until they stopped shooting. And that was the only way they could make that movie work. And the thing about it is the technology, of course, had improved. Obviously, by doing the Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, and of course, Revenge of the bad guys. No, the first three movies, it literally started out very hungry, very, very minimalistic. Better money, kind of lost something. Better money, kind of lost something yet again. But there was some stuff that they incorporated in those that was actually kind of cool, like the Tauntaun clawing up on Luke. Well, obviously, Mark Hamill had been involved in a car crash. And he had facial scars that were still showing. So that's how they put that in there. Like, okay, he's now weathered because not the Tauntaun, the Wampa. The Wampa got him in the ice caves. That's what it was. The Wampa got him and like stuck him upside down in the ice cave to, hold him up for later. And of course, they'll come back for a little, Jedi snack. We have a little Jedi popsicle. So anyway, looking at that one, that's pretty much where that one came from. But I would dearly love to see them do a reboot on the Escape from Somewhere. I think they probably should just simply do Escape from Detroit, because Detroit is such a just desiccated hellhole. Or Escape from San Francisco, just some place that's really just right now you're thinking, do I really want to go there? No. Scott Ryan, any thoughts on MA issues? Can you elaborate on what MA means? Logan, American Express, don't leave home without it. Russian Express, don't leave home. Yakov Smirnov. Oh, jeez. Man. There was this one video I saw, and I forget what it was, but it was like supposedly some guy like walked out and like the bus just plowed him in Russia or something. It was like, in Soviet Russia, bus stop you. Jedi versus Antifa. That's not even a fight, dude. That's not even a fight. That would be like, they're walking around and waving empty weapons and I love when these Antifa guys and BLM guys start posting pictures about, yeah, well, we have these firearms, and you look at them, they're like Smith and Wesson 22s. There's Smith and Wesson 22s where you can see the followers like all the way up. It's an unloaded magazine. The scope obviously was just slapped on there. Sometimes you can see the scope is backwards. Obviously, all the gear that they're wearing, the plate carriers, the mag carriers, they're all NC Star. I mean, it's like, as cheap and as good looking as possible, but really, really schlocky kind of, we just basically did it as good and as fast as possible. You really didn't do it, guys, because when it comes down to it and you start messing with the bubbas and, like the guys who basically think it's fun to go into a deer stand and sit there all day long in like 20-degree weather, and if they don't see a deer, it was still a good day. Those guys are out there for one shot. They're not going to come into the inner city. They're not going to go, oh, yeah, man, let's do this urban exchange program where we come in here and grab the whatevers. And, dude, they don't want to go there. You guys in the city will be eating each other within about 2 weeks because the stores are empty in 3 days maximum. So this whole thing about, yeah, well, you ain't going to come in the city and blah, 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 blah. They don't need to. They don't want to. They don't have to. They go out to the barnyard and they basically find, oh, yeah, I want some eggs for breakfast. They hit the hen house. Oh, I want some this, that, and the other thing. They go out to the storeroom. Oh, I want this, that, and the other thing. They go down to the root cellar. They don't need to go to the city to go shopping. Okay? That's how that one is. They just don't need to do that. And I think this thing is being weird, so I'm going to put it on airport. That's right. Now you don't have to listen in. You don't have to be Snoopy. I notice that sometimes when smartphones are sitting idle and my speaker system is it's I literally say it's almost like a Radar O'Reilly kind of a thing, because literally I'll be sitting here sometimes and Martin's Airport is like about not even 3 miles away from me, and every once in a while I hear the and it's literally the plane coming in and the radar is sweeping. As the plane is coming in, the radar is sweeping, and it comes over my house and makes the speaker freak out. And I hear it go, because these are not well-shielded speakers. As a matter of fact, my phone can make that thing make all kinds of cracky, poppy noises and whatnot. It's just not a good speaker system, but it's very sensitive in that regard. So it will hear, by being, kind of like a pickup in the inductive coils, how it's, things are going on around it. And, so that's literally the way that one works, is I'll hear that stuff. Callie says, I know where most of the fruit trees were stealing from within 4-mile radius of my house. Well, yeah. I can authenticate. Predatory fever. I can authenticate the rule due to experience firsthand. Yes, exactly. Never mind the fact that a lot of that stuff also tends to be really, really good stuff. I do have an Amish community only a few hours away from me. The Amish guys are really, really good at supplying some very, very good food. Let's see. Cali shotgun escape from Guam. Guam, sir, there's nothing to do in Guam. Well, I did hear there's some very interesting legislation coming out with Guam. Supposedly the Guamese are now seeking to make legal firearm suppressors. Now, Guam is not a big place. If you think about it in terms of like actual size and whatnot, it's like saying Hawaii. It's the island out in the middle of nowhere. And just like Midway, there's a reason why the U.S. military wanted to have Midway, wanted to have Guam, because literally it is midway from this place to that place. You can use it as a refueling station, a uploading station for armament, whatnot. You can base your ships there. You're not having to drive all the way from A to B. You can go from A to stop here, fuel up, whatever everything else is, and then proceed onward to B. Jack at Guam is always at risk of capsizing. Ask Hank Johnson. Yeah, you can't have all them people standing on the one side of the island or it's going to tip over. I love when somebody basically was like, dude, what? They actually called him on that one. It's like, you, sir, are a moron. Mrs. Patriots from the heart of Illinois, Amish country, but she was not Amish. So obviously then she kind of hung out with the Mennonites. Plus they aren't citizens. They are sovereign nationals, no federal taxes or BS 14 Amendment. Yes. That's the other thing too, is also, I don't even want to get into the whole COVID thing, but they didn't wear masks. They didn't get shots. And, because they live very close to the earth and are eating real food, they didn't get sick. Okay. And that's the other thing, too, is also I take a lot of vitamins. That's my South African friend there. You have to take vitamins because if you take vitamins, that's why you get ill because they're vitamins. So anyway, yeah, I'm taking a lot of vitamins and I'm really not getting sick. But I did hear about some interesting treatment options they have going on. Obviously, they're selling all these mRNA medications and, shoot this crap into you and then you're good. But, oh, yeah, we don't know for sure if it's going to fight off the virus variants that are coming out. Oops. But, yeah, we stuck this new stuff in you that's, genetically tweaked and it should be fine. Oh, guess what? You're the test audience. So, ugh. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's like if you go to, you look at the way the Indians were treating it, they said, okay, let's look at this thing hard and fast. I mean, it wasn't even an economical thing for the Indians. And I do mean like the Indian guys, not like American Indians. I'm talking like Indian guys, like in the country of India. They looked at it long and hard. And of course, they're being some scary, scary, smart guys. They're like, how are we going to handle this? And they're like, okay, well, a treatment option would be probably, we're going to get outstripped immediately because, we got 1 billion plus people. What would be the most efficacious way to treat a large population with the stuff that's available? So they came up with these little blister packs, and they literally look like basically like the little blister packs that you have in a cold medication box or some such. And laptop is sleeping on me. Anyway, so it literally is like a blister pack. And if you look at it, there's a field, and then there's another field, and then there's another field. So basically there's 3 medications on board. And literally it is hydrochloroquine, ivermectin, and zinc. And they said, you know what? If you take this stuff and you use the treatment option of which we're giving you, you will be COVID-free within 2 weeks. And they found that it did work efficaciously. It was safe. Nobody was really just taking this pill and just immediately suffering blood clots or, major calamities or anything along those lines. Because hydrochloroquine, been around forever, the side effects. Ivermectin, been around forever, the side effects. Zinc, duh. Well, here's the thing, is after you've taken all this stuff and you get treated, how much was the cost of doing business per dosage with these blister packs? $2.50 each American. Now, if this was truly, the game or the gain or the seeking therein to treat everybody and be, cautious about it, and that's the other thing too, is also in the medical community, is you always go least to most. You don't ever go, okay, well, he's got a scratch on his hand, let's just cut his arm off. That's not how they do stuff in the medical community. Usually you want to go least to most. And what you try to do there is you jigger the results to try to find individually how people are responding, because everybody responds differently to medication. No matter if the stuff's been established for a bazillion years, everybody reacts differently. That's like, when you're treating somebody with high blood pressure, there's a bazillion different drugs on the market, but some work on some people, some others don't work on other people. And oh yeah, side effects. Every med has side effects. But hydrochloroquine, known effective. Ivermectin, known effective. Both of those been around forever. You know exactly what they're going to do. Zinc, it's basically you're taking vitamins. And each one of those blister packs was given to people to avoid or treat from COVID. Haven't heard a whole hell of a lot of Indian guys just falling over backwards going, oh, no, this stuff that they gave me, it took me down. Haven't heard it. Haven't heard it at all. Let's see. By the way, Miss Patriot got even with the ice cold super stoker while I was showering. Little Patriots 1 and 2 are happy to help her. Traitors. Well, I think this was after the Nerf gun incident. Cali Shotgun says, we're heading for the next big extinction, dude. The tuna and other marine life is fleeing to the subtropics. Chasing fish is not hard, dude. But the thing about it is there's a lot of fish you actually can farm. Tuna, you can't farm, okay? Tuna are like little hot rod torpedoes, and they need to have open ocean. They're a lot like sharks in some respects because they need to have water flowing over them all the time, heat, and they're done. Sharks can actually semi-regulate temperatures to some degree, but there's a lot of technological stuff that's very similar with they farm out really good. Besides, shark's not that damn tasty. So you can farm salmon. Now, the other thing too is also, you can farm salmon just offshore, and easy stuff. You basically feed them feeder fish. They're eating the same stuff. They're basically hanging out. Obviously, the communities are a little tighter than normal because they really don't school like that so much. But they found that farming salmon is actually a very easy thing to do and good for the environment. Farming, most of your shellfish, farming oysters and clams and all those guys and whatnot, they're filters. They're filter feeders. So by putting those guys out there, they're cleaning the shoreline. All good stuff. Mason Gates, what do you think the odds are of Texas passing open carry soon? Well, I tend to think it's extremely likely. The other thing, too, is also Texas has very, very, very profoundly, very strong, like maybe just about a half step behind Oklahoma in terms of Second Amendment rights. Texas is definitely one of those places. I would say it's very, very good odds. And I would tend to think, just in terms of the way things are working, I think Texas is actually one of the constitutional carry states anyway. So I would tend to think that's going to be happening very, very soon. Jay Ultra, hey dude, new fan. Have you heard of the Ligma incident? No, Jay Ultra, I have not. But I'll tell you what, I will definitely give it a quick snoop here. So give me 1 second here, and I'll take a quick slurp. Looks like it's dating from July 2018, a subreddit dedicated to a crank launched in mid-June. Particular incident started as a campaign, a fake story. This is from Polygon.com. Let's see here. The Instagram account, but a joke post from July 16 turned into a major hoax centered around the word Ligma. So I read Lima, India, Golf, Mary, Alpha. Ligma is a joke similar to a joke in D's Nuts Camp. Say Ligma, and another person asks what Ligma means, and the response is Ligma balls. The play on words picked up speed this week. There are a number of meme accounts on Instagram and Twitter started trolling people by posting Fortnite streamer Tyler Ninja Blevins, who died from Nigma, and insinuating it was disease. Jeez. Oh, that's funny stuff, man. Oh, jeez. Now, I'm not going to pull that one out of the room, Logan, but I like it. I like it. Tilapia and catfish are very easy to farm. I speak with experience. Tilapia, the major problem with tilapia is most of your, Chinese source tilapia, oh, my God. I do mean, oh, my God. The kind of stuff that stuff has been exposed to, it is do not eat anything Chinese at all in terms of, fish, okay? Just no, do not eat it, all right? It's perfectly just absolutely just surrounded by the worst possible gack. I mean, just anything Chinese in terms of food value is don't eat the food in China. Really, don't eat the food in China, okay? Just don't.
Oh my.
Yeah, just no. The frozen fish that's coming out of China is gack. And I do mean in a possibly worst possible sense of describing it. It is gack. Do not eat it. Catfish being the scroungers. It's really funny. I remember one of these old Mad magazines or crack magazines. I think it was actually Mad or something. But it was pretty funny. It was how to have your first aquarium. And it was describing all the different fish and whatnot. It's this fish swims around and blah, 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 looks pretty and gets eaten by this other bigger fish that costs too much. And it was kind of one of those things. Then from the top on down, it was describing the different strata of the different fishes and whatnot. And it's and here's a catfish. The catfish's job is to eat all the nasty, icky stuff in the bottom of the tank. Only problem is nobody figured out what will eat all the dirty, nasty, icky stuff left behind by the catfish. That would crack me up. Fossil record, this precursor to the massive die-offs, fossil records 215 million years ago, shows it at a genetic bottleneck of 90%. you know what? I really don't put good truck in these timelines of, oh yeah, well, you know, we can count on the giant asteroid from, you know, butthole, you know, something or other coming by to smack us in the next week, and you know, I'm not even going to put great press, you know, press and pomp and circumstance and that stuff. I mean, yeah, you know, if it does happen, well, you know, I guess I'll be visiting, you know, the previous iterations of family members and critters that preceded me, but I'm not going to really worry about it so terribly much. I mean, it is what it is, and reality being what it is I love when these guys come up with these descriptors to say, "Oh, at this time of so and so, we believe that." Blah, blah. Dude, you ain't got a crystal ball, and you're not that psychic, so you're really kind of just whistling in the wind and trying to make something worthy of it. Not going to happen. Minnesota's likely to pass open looting soon. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go down to Soylent Green on that one. Bring in the trucks. If you don't leave soon, we're gonna bring in the trucks. I'm not gonna eat the soil coming out of, you know, Minnesota, but I'm thinking they're gonna bring in the trucks. Now in terms of stuff that I've been finding, I've been you know, noteworthy, like pressing and making into, you know, snarky little things on, you know, Facebook and good stuff like that. I've been making tons of memes. It's just me being me. But I did find it kind of interesting that the stuff that seems to be coming out, like Maxine Waters. I mean, she made a statement about, oh, yeah, you're going to be more proactive. You have to be more confrontational, this, that, and the other thing. So this butt puke decided he was going to go out and he was going to make a show of force by doing. Hang on a second. I got to find the appropriate sound effect on this one. I gotta find the appropriate sound effect on this one. I don't even know if I have the right sound effect on this one because, okay, I'll try this. Okay, this mind-addled. Yeah, that's good enough. The Back to the Future twinkle. That's about as good as it's gonna get because
thing sucks.
Okay, obviously, but no, the guy that actually did the act. I really. I cannot begin to tell you how weak this was. It's just beyond, like, if this is their best, and I do mean, like, you know, like the guys who are like, yeah, we're going to be the proactive members of the advanced front of, you know, showing these guys who's who and what's what when you take down one of our brothers, blah, 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 blah. If this guy is like the foremost elite of the scrappy BLM, Antifa, call them what you will, guys. Dude, you are like nutless. And I do mean like nutless. Okay, let me just run through the story real fast here. We'll, you know, go from north to south. According to the U.S. State's Attorney, W. Anders Folk. I really hate when these guys do this, you know, abbreviate the first name so you look more official. Okay, so anyway, this U.S. attorney guy announced federal criminal complaint charging Andrew Thomas, 28, with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Wait a minute. I thought gun law, if there was enough gun laws, we would fix everything. Enough gun laws. We will fix everything. Everybody will be safe with enough gun laws. He's a felon and he had guns. It gets better, folks. Being a felon in possession of a firearm. Thomas will make an initial appearance tomorrow before Magistrate Judge Kathleen M. Menendez in U.S. District Court. According to the allegations and the criminal complaints, during the early morning hours of April 18, a team of Minnesota National Guard soldiers, along with an officer of the Minneapolis Police Department, was stationed at the corner of Penn Ave North and West Broadway Avenue in Minneapolis. It gets better. At approximately 4:20 a.m., a light-colored SUV driving on West Broadway Avenue fired multiple shots at the team. One bullet went through the windshield of the team's military vehicle, which held 4 soldiers. 2 soldiers of the Minnesota National Guard sustained minor injuries. One was transported to the nearby hospital for treatment of injuries from shattered glass. The other was treated at the scene for superficial wounds. Translation, he basically spattered glass in the guy's faces. That's really what happened. The criminal complaint alleges that during the late night hours of April 18, Minneapolis police officers patrolling the area of 6th Street and Cedar Street encountered a 2002 Ford Explorer that matched the description of the SUV involved in the shooting. After conducting a felony stop of the vehicle, the driver later identified as Thomas and a juvenile passenger, I wonder if that was a girl, were placed in separate police cars. Upon obtaining a search warrant for the vehicle, they did it right. The officers recovered from the vehicle a Springfield Armory XD9 9mm semi-automatic pistol, a .22 caliber revolver with an obliterated serial number. That's not one felony. Ammunition and two discharged cartridge casings. Because Thomas had prior felony conviction in Hennepin County, he's prohibited under federal law from possessing firearms or ammunition at any time. But gun laws protect people. But Maxine Waters. In a related story, Democrats unanimously voted to defeat a Republican resolution to censure Maxine Waters after she incited violence. The House voted along party lines 216-210 to table the resolution brought by GOP Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat from California, flew to Minnesota Saturday to stir up hate on the streets. Waters urged violent leftists to, quote, get more confrontational, end quote, with authorities as the Chauvin trial wrapped up. The Minnesota National Guard was fired in a drive-by shooting in North Minneapolis early Sunday morning, just hours after Maxine incited violence. She's got to go, man. She really has to go. In a related story, this is going to get really sideways, folks. And I do mean really sideways. The cop, all 3 felony charges, boned. And I do mean like slam dunk, not playing games. You are going to the pokey. They even denied his bail. They denied his bond, remanded him to custody. That cop ain't going nowhere. He is going straight to the jail. So, Maxine Waters threatens the Chauvin jury. Unanimously, they said the cop did it. That's not good enough. You're too white. We have to get woke and show you what the word is. I really wanted to cuss there, but we have to show you who's who and what's what. Judge just said that Maxine Waters may have committed an appealable offense. So, a lot of pollen around here, so my nose is a little weird. So, it has now been stated that Maxine Waters potentially may have seized defeat from the sure jaws of victory. In speaking with Cahill, defense attorneys Eric Nelson cited concerns about comments by Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat, California, about the trial. Waters had encouraged protesters in Minnesota during the proceedings. Nelson said the media attention surrounding the trial was unavoidable and believes jurors should have been sequestered. This is bad, folks. I just don't know how this jury can really be ... that they are free from the taint of this, he told Cahill. Quote, now that we have U.S. representatives threatening acts of threatening acts in this relation to the specific case, it's mind-boggling. That was really not an easy read. But anyway, it is bad. I mean, really, really bad. She made it so dude can say, look, I need a mistrial. And conceivably, you're going to have a change in venue because literally everybody in Minnesota is going to be like, yeah, I read that news story. Yeah, I saw that news story. Every news story about that guy says he's a piece of crap. We should just take this guy down to the courthouse and hang him outside on a pole arm. He's not ever going to get a fair trial at this point. It's just not going to happen. Wow. Patriot Fever says, Good Pillow Guy is having a conniption fit with dude reading that story. Good Pillow Guy. Don't you mean My Pillow? Patriot Fever except ramen. No, I wouldn't eat the Chinese ramen either, dude. I would eat strictly Japanese ramen or Korean ramen. I wouldn't eat anything from China. Well, let me give you a personal experience, okay? Years ago, and I don't mean that many years ago, you could find canned smoked oysters in olive oil, and they weren't bad. I mean, they were decent stuff. I would eat them all the time. They were great. Nowadays, you look at all the grocer's shelves, every can of smoked clams, oysters, what have yous, they're all from China. Now, the other thing, too, is also, I remember one time I got a can of the Chinese smoked oysters, cracked the can, basically it's a pull top, took a sniff, and it's like, it's kind of a little weird. All right, I'll eat it. It smelled okay, but there was a little eat in the background. And that's one of the other things that I'm either cursed or blessed with, is I have an extremely ridiculously good sense of smell and taste. And so it basically got one of those, stuck the fork in there, popped it in my mouth, started chewing. It's like, smoked oyster. And then all of a sudden there's this diesel fuel kind of thing in the background. It's like, no. Found a trash can, spit it out, grabbed another one, same thing, pitched the can. After that, I'm a convert. I do not eat anything Chinese, anything. I just don't. I'll eat it from any other place on the planet. I will not eat Chinese stuff, mostly because they think it's funny to send something to Guailoi, which would be, white ghost, or their way of describing somebody other than Chinese. They'll send anything to Guailoi because Guailoi will eat anything because, they're just too stupid to know better. Nope. Good Pillow Guy, Dave. David. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. It's Hogs. David Hogs. Yeah, supposedly. Okay, I'll get into that in 1 second. But anyway, so the Chinese crap is Chinese crap, and I'm not going to eat it. But Maxine, you may have just seized defeat from the sure jaws of victory. And I'll tell you what, if any of these race-baiting poverty pimps, breed like, just, I'm not even going to say their names, but you know the guys, okay? It's the ones that are always there in the background just going, yeah, we're so put upon because we're rich and black. Ah! Yeah, those guys. If you caused a mistrial and this guy goes free, I hope every single black person on the planet goes, it wasn't the court's fault. It wasn't the jury's fault. It was Maxine Waters that let this cop skate. Call it what it is. She is the one that instituted the situation where there was a potential to have a mistrial, a corrupted jury, and a potentially irrelevantly stated but justified judgment against this cop for wiping out the one dude on video camera when he never really should have done the way in which he did. And I've had arguments with people. They're like, oh, yeah, well, he basically was a bad guy. It's like, yeah, he may have been a bad guy. He may have been a total piece of crap. But if the cop contributed to his demise, that's the cop. That's not the situation in which the guy was, previous to that or during that or what have you. When you're under arrest and you stop fighting, the cop is supposed to stop trying to kill you. That's it. Maybe some Cali shotgun, maybe some Eskimos. Dude, if I could find the Inuit basically tinning and shipping out like smoked oysters, I would be on it in a hot minute because I guarantee you that stuff would be amazing because those guys have been doing it for a long time. Patriot, maybe Eskimos are your only option for a free trial. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be up there in, like way north Alaska now going, you want me to judge this guy for killing another guy? I'm just trying to go out and get some seal, man. I want to go out shopping. I'm basically just it's hunting season. I want to go out and get some seal. I want to go out and get some whale. I want to go out and get the good stuff. I don't want to sit in a room somewhere and basically hear your tale of woe. That's not going to do anything for me. I'm just not into that. But yeah, I think, dude, right now trying to get a fair and equitable trial, it's going to be very, very hard. And I think the fact that Maxine stuck her nose into it and completely kiboshed this thing, oh my, this is like possibly the worst thing she ever could have done, is sticking her snooter in there and playing around with stuff that really she didn't really need to even say a word about one way or the other. She screwed it up bad, man. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the David Hogg thing. Okay, David Hogg had his. How can you really describe him? He's like a Greta Thunberg. I mean, he really is. But the thing about it is really David Hogg. Yeah, thanks, sound guy. He's really just kind of one of those guys that you look at, you're like, oh, it's a soy boy trying to basically play politics. Yeah, he's not that guy. Yeah, he's not that guy, okay? Okay, I think we got it, sound guy. I think we got it. But anyway, David Hogg is like an anti-gunners masturbatory fantasy of just total obnoxious little geek who can, on camera, look personable and do the bobblehead talking head kind of a thing. Well, today in the news was seen to be this, kind of one of those things where the guy projects himself in such a way on camera that he actually looks good on camera. I actually probably would look good on radio, but he looks good on camera and does his little spiel and posits the notion that guns are bad because guns are bad because guns are bad. But yeah, he's a little whiny little snit, and he decided to take on the My Pillow guy, and oh my word, I think his name's Mike Lindell or something, but the My Pillow guy who's seen amazing success making a product that pretty much is just, it's a comfort thing. But, some people really truly are just like, yeah, my health kind of sucks. I need a special pillow. And he makes it. And people get that stuff and they're like, oh, wow, this is really truly just, revolutionary. It's addressed my sleep issues. Yeah, dude makes stuff that is that good because he just does. So anyway, Lindell has made his own way. And then, I mean, literally the guy's thing is just like, an exercise in absolute and implacable stick-to-itiveness. I mean, the thing about it is, if you hear his life story, I mean, he started out as like Joe Average, then got addicted to drugs, and then almost crashed and burned. But, for some reason, I don't know if it was just like prayer or like, the situation presenting itself where he had a moment of clarity. And of course, then religion came in and, gave him purpose again. But literally, I heard his life story, and the guy literally was, seriously addicted to drugs, street drugs. And in the course of like a day said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And stopped cold turkey, had no secondary effects, hasn't gone back and touched the stuff since, and said, you know what? I can do this pillow thing. I can make these profitable. So literally started making them in his garage or his home or what have you, or lost his home and, got on the streets, got himself back to another place, working somewhere else or something, and was making the pillows himself and selling them. And in the process said, I need to grow this thing. So he got involved with other guys. And of course they stole his ideas. Now in the process of stealing his ideas, their execution sucked. So it failed miserably. So he basically continued making his own stuff. And of course, obviously got more ability to make more of them, got popular, built the company up until the company became this, grossly, ridiculously, amazingly successful thing on his own efforts. And, of course, he said, look, I'm a self-made man. I'm rich and this, that, and the other thing. I want to give back to the community. I want to show people that you can do this on your own. And I want to make things right for other people. And he's obviously a very strong conservative in that regard, where you're basically saying, you know what? I need to make my own way because obviously nobody's going to give me squat. I need to bust my own ass. So anyway, David Hogg in his infinite wisdom said, you know what? I'm going to call this guy on these things and I'm going to come up with my own pillow company. So in the process of making his own pillow company, he tried to end run somebody that was already well established. Now, here's the thing. if I went out right now and I bought like, a hot rod computer server system that could handle, 5 million people working on it at once. Okay. Say I basically had like some, ridiculous server farm that could handle 20 million people all at once. And I started it up as my face. Being snarky, not Facebook and not MySpace, but my face, and I said, yeah, come on over here to my face. I'm this, that, and the other thing, it'll be free and clear, this, that, and the other thing. And then I try to find advertisers and I try to get people to sign on board. Well, I'm not going to have the same kind of penetration that Facebook's going to have. Obviously, I'm not going to have the same kind of cachet that Facebook has. Obviously, I'm not having the deep pockets that Facebook has. Obviously, I'm not going to be that notable for somebody to go, oh yeah, I'll buy your stock at the the IPO of 5 cents a share, and I hope it's going to make something in 5 years. I don't have that kind of cachet. David Hogg did the same exact thing to the MyPillow guy. He's like, you know what? I'm making pillows, and I'll make pillows better than that MyPillow guy because my pillows are going to be based in the socialist kind of mantra of guns suck. It didn't last but 6 months before he was just like, you know what? It's not quite doing it so good. I might have to try something different. Yeah, you might have to try something different called not messing around with the pillow guy because you got your ass handed to you. So anyway, that's what happened with David Hogg is David Hogg tried to play games and got bit by the big dog. Sorry. It is what it is. It's called reality, dude, and you don't live in it. Let's see. Scroll. Oh, David Hogg is walking butthurt. Patriot Fever says he's walking butthurt. Jeez. Wrong seals, Nuck Tuck, put down the harpoon. Jeez. Now MyPillow guy is suing Dominion Machines for $1.6 billion. Yes, I heard about that, and that's going to be very interesting, which is another reason why they truly hate Mike Lindell and MyPillow, is the fact that he's trying to call out the fact that he thinks the last election was fake, and he's got the kind of cachet, read like, he's got enough of one of these in his wallet, he's got enough of, you know what? I'm going to have a little fun here, and I don't know if, Logan is still here, but I don't think he's got enough of these. Yeah, I don't think he's got enough of these to play with. Yeah, that's right. It's a Canadian £5 note or $5 note. Sorry. $5 note. Canadian money, eh? Yeah, that's right. Canadian money from one of my last trips, but I've been carrying it forever. So anyway, Lindell basically has the cash to hire the lawyers, do the process, and I think somebody actually is trying to countersue him now and saying, "No, dude, you're basically, you're slandering the blah blah blah." And I don't really think that's going to work, man. I tend to think that, he's going to call in a lot of information that, obviously a lot of these electors don't want to get into. And it's been kind of on the down low, but there's been a lot of states that are like, you know what? This ain't happening again, okay? And that's the thing a lot of people truly don't understand is the election laws from state to state for the presidential election are not standardized. The electors on each state are stated as such by the legislation enacted in that state. So the way that they get the electors, the way that they make the electors function is literally a tablecloth of all kinds of different colors and factions and all kinds of mess and all that stuff. But anyway, the long and short of it is essentially he might have some teeth. He might actually get some stuff coming out and potentially it could be very, very interesting. So in that regard, yes, I would truly like to see what happens with the whole suing Dominion. And of course, Dominion itself, there's all kinds of sketchy and specious information floating around about it. But anytime you have a corporation that does all kinds of wormy stuff and really truly doesn't admit to things, that sounds very, very strange for a presidential election, which is supposed to be on its optics completely clear, above board, and if nothing else, equitable and seen as honest. Cali Shotgun, he was on crack. Yes, and he was such a super addict that his dealer told him that he and all the other dealers in the city wouldn't sell to him anymore. Wow. Holy crap. Patriot Fever is AOC's worst nightmare, basically. Oh, jeez. Yeah, he's kind of like our own Greta Thunberg. Ugh. Wow. Bad. Let me go over here from Gab, take a look at the Facebook side of things. I did try to put some stuff in there, and I locked it down to some degree. Mostly it was memes, but I did have fun. I did put in this one statement, and I think it was one of those ones that you probably could, kind of take to heart and say, yes, that is definitely the way things work. And I put it in there, and I'm sure Facebook really doesn't like the fact that it's in there and it's clean. But it says essentially this: far left beliefs are inherently racist because they seek to make minorities victims instead of giving them the chance to better themselves by allowing them to compete freely to show their own worth in society. That back and forth thing kind of messing with me. But anyway, put that in there, and enough people have kind of liked it, so whatever. Like I said, I've been having fun with the memes, and of course, obviously, I put in that one in there, and they were like, "Oh, you can't say that about Mark Zuckerberg." Yeah, that mean mother Zucker. So that mean mother Zucker basically has his how would I say it appropriately without being snarky? No, I'll just say it. He basically has his suck ups, carrying his water for him. So that is what it is. Okay. Look at the things as it is. Facebook's basically locked out for the time being, so I am strictly on YouTube only. I'm not going to cry about it. It is what it is. If you guys want to catch my stuff and review, watch anything at any time on your own leisure, on your own dime, you know where to find me. Okay, so 80s Podcast Channel. Obviously, I'm on Gab 1, which is going to be Dude Jerky 2 on Facebook for whatever worth that is. But on Gab, Gab page 1 is Dude Jerky 80s. So Dude Jerky 80s. And I have been finding stuff, and it's funny to me that I'll find stuff on Facebook. I'll grab the link, clean it up so it doesn't have the Facebook referral, and I'll just throw it over on Gab. So it's almost like I'm using it almost like a storage medium. But if people catch my stuff there, I'm not going to cry about it. Hang on a second. Come here. That's right. It's the new guy. That's right. It's a Milo. This is the kitten. Yes? This is the kitten. This is the obnoxious little kitten. But he's not so little anymore. I mean, look at the size of this guy. He's big. Done. Bye-bye. But yeah, he's definitely a handful sometimes. So whatever you do, don't leave those bills in a hot environment. They melt. I've heard the Brits have the same problem with their plastic bills. That is funny, though. It's like, the window on these things is so cool, but, it's one of those cases of we've made a bill that's so cool and so, hard to copy that it's now fragile. So it's like this kind of cool plastic window here. There's like a cool plastic window here. And they have all kinds of laser effects and Fresnel, and it's cool. But it's not cool enough to put it in hot places, like Logan's saying. It's not good enough as paper bills. It's kind of got a problem. Sorry, like I said, basically find me on Gab, find me on obviously Facebook when I'm there. You find me on 80s Podcast Channel on YouTube. Of course, I'm on Twitter, 80SPCC sometimes. I appreciate your kind attention, you guys hanging out with me. You get a gold star for attendance. You guys hung out with me the whole time. You might get 2 stars. He's in the craft paper again, being obnoxious. Well, I appreciate your kind time, your kind attentions. And I got, he is a big kitten, but he's obnoxious now. I think he needs to get a little bit of, snip, because he has a couple of, dangly things that need to get snip. He'll calm down maybe a little bit after that. But right now, he's like a terror. So we wanted him to grow a little bit before we snip. So we are at that point right there. Gator Red, since 1/20/2021, the day the DC Clown Show was open for business, every day since has been funny stuff. When WW3 came up, time to find the leader. When Russian tanks are rolling, we get big mess. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, too, is one of the things I really, truly don't understand about the Russians. Putin and those guys, they're GRU, man. They are old school under the red flag of Soviet Russia. They are old school, don't mess with me, communist ass kickers. They are not pushover guys who are these wimpy, milquetoast kind of libtard morons that say one thing, and if it doesn't happen, they knuckle under. They're not tough. Putin and those guys, when they say something, they mean it. It's not like they're just saying things to hear themselves talk. When those guys speak, they mean it. It's sometimes saber rattling to say, yeah, we're badasses, we're tough and everything. They're really not, but they are definitely honest in that regard in a great extent. They're not like the Chinese. The Chinese are BS artists because they have to steal your stuff. The Russians, they'll take your stuff because they are that kind of a tough ass kind of guy. Anyway, so I'm going to break off on this one, folks. Appreciate your kind attentions, folks, and all good comments in the room. You guys hanging out with me tonight. So appreciate your kind attention. You guys have any other places to go, but you hung out with me, and I truly appreciate your time spent. So I'm going to break up on this one. Eat good, keep tendering. As always, you know and you love it. And always remember, do not rub this on your chest. Rub it on your tongue. See you guys.